All right, it's holy shit, 2:30 in the morning. Well, fuck it. I'm up. I'll just tape this and we'll go along with it. You know what it is? Hey, six of you subscribing. I appreciate you all. I really appreciate everyone who's also turning in to watch these videos through and through. Lord knows you don't have to put up with me, but I'm thankful of it. I do have a mic here. I just haven't started to tinker with it. I'll do that. Ooh, I guess I should say later today. Now that it's 2:30 on Monday. I'm not doing my taxes till later Tuesday night, and then I have a job interview. Maybe two, but definitely one Thursday afternoon, and there might be one at my old college early next week. We'll see what happens. But for right now, I want to talk real quick about Roxy Music and their two comeback 80s albums. Because they took a break after 1976, but he was the band, Bryan Ferry, largely in control of it. And they came back with their seventh album, Flesh and Blood, in 1980, Phil and Manzanera on guitar. And again in 82 with Avalon. Now, both of these albums are produced by, ultimately by Bob Ludwig. Like it says, Bob Clearmountain on the mixing. But when you get down to it, for the mastering and the production, it's Bob Ludwig. And folks, you can tell because I didn't listen to these albums back to back, and I put both on repeat like 5 times. You know, flip it over, turn it over, start again. You, if you put on these albums, and these are the original presses. These aren't the reissues from a couple of years ago. These are Die Hard's 1980, 1982 masters, and not so much this one, but Avalon has the proper dust jacket to go with everything. Um, you put these albums on, and even if you keep the volume on the stereo the same, you could tell that this was Bob doing the work because that man got every ounce, every drop of stereo, every instrument, every note. If you put one of the albums that Bob Ludwig mastered on, it's going to have extra grooves on the vinyl, and you're going to have to turn down that volume because I did for a second. It started going. I went, oh, holy shit! What is this? Is it a '90s album? Is this a brick wall? No, 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 no. He came across and mastered these and got every note, every chord, every little, um, every little rhythm out of the instruments that he was listening to. And it really shows people because you get people that don't know who can't produce as well versus Bob Ludwig, and it shows on the quality of the albums. These are the ones that you have to often tune your subwoofer and your pre-line in and go crazy. No, 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 no. You put one of these Roxy music albums from the 1980s after they've been gone for 4 years, there's no mistaking it. You put this on, you're either turning down the volume or just letting it go, because this music pours out of your speakers perfectly. And with Flesh and Blood in 1980, I love that cover. At first, I thought these were Siamese twins because I wasn't looking at them properly. Shame on me. No, I had a stupid moment. It would pass for a prog cover, wouldn't it? Right? You're thinking about the two people melting together and throwing javelins like that. And there's also a 80s horror movie on, not on Shudder, but on Tubi that I saw not too long ago. So seeing that movie and then listening to this album and looking at this cover, it's like, oh, holy shit. But I'm telling you, we look at this, we got the Midnight Hour. Oh yeah, the single. Oh yeah. Yeah, we love our Randy Savage moments, though. Wait, come on now. WWF is never the same. Yeah, I miss Randy. The title track, My Only Love. You turn it over to the flip side. Over You, 8 Miles High. Rain, Rain, Rain. Yes, that's really a title. Whatever. It's 1980. People can make up whatever the hell they want to, but Rain, Rain, Rain was actually a hit radio song. Running Wild. Okay, I actually took notes to go with this album because on Flesh and Blood, I couldn't help but notice there's so much Cars, Blondie, The Clash. There's a lot that this group is doing, largely Bryan Ferry, but with Manzanera on guitar, and a whole slate of session musicians pretty much on each song. These two 80s albums, Roxy Music, guys, basically became the glam bubblegum pop version of Steely Dan. We're going to have 20 people playing on this album. We're going to make the biggest hits you've ever heard, do the most commercial versions for this genre. If you like it, cool. If you don't, fuck off. But chances are you're going to like it and you're going to pick up that record. We're going to get the radio stations to play us. And that's what you get here with the 80s Roxy music, because this isn't the early glam avant-garde stuff. This is more dialed into this, particularly Bryan Ferry, because he's the leader of the band at this point. It is what it is, you know? Listening with his ear to the ground saying, okay, here are the 5 different things that are playing right now. And I actually had to take notes on Flesh and Blood. I didn't take notes for Avalon. I probably should have, but I just did Flesh and Blood. And I said, this is, wow, first of all, there's that Bob Ludwig production. Amazing. But I couldn't help but notice how much Roxy music sounds like Elvis Costello. Punch the Clock, Get Happy, Armed Forces, that type of sounds. It's very, this is a, let me pick it up again, fucking hell. This is very 1980 bubblegum pop. You can even put Alice Cooper Band in this. In fact, the way this album plays out, guys, you will have moments where you sit there and go, holy shit, it's the Cars. Not only is it the Cars, guys, but it's, with the production, it's Heartbeat City. So, if you like, you might think, Drive, the title track, oh Jackie, it's been so long. If you love that album, this is Heartbeat City. 4 years before Rick Ocasek put that album together. That's how ahead of schedule this is. You could almost hear Wildflower, southern accents, especially Long After Dark Tom Petty from 1982 on this album. And in Tom Petty's case, this is 2 years before Long After Dark. Because you got lucky, babe. When I found you, they're doing it here. Everybody came back to Roxy Music. In the same way that this is on EG Records. Well, it's not EG totally. It's Atco Atlantic. But EG was the management. The same management that Fripp had for King Crimson. And, of course, the greatest British producer of the 20th century, Bryan Eno, former Roxy Music organist and co-writer from 70 to 73. Same record company and management backing them. And you play this album, I took notes of it again. I said, it's Heartbeat City, but it's early on. And furthermore, there are moments like Rain, 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 where Bryan is doing David Byrne. Spot on. The tone, the delivery. It's unmistakably David Byrne, who Bryan Eno was working with around that year, 1979, 1980, with Adrian Belew, who would end up in the King Crimson reunion for Remain in Light, 1980s album. But there's the influence of the Talking Heads on Bryan Ferry in the pop world, even when most people didn't totally get into the band. But here's Bryan, and by extension, Bryan Eno, because Lord knows they talked even after Bryan Eno left, let's be honest. There's the feedback, because Roxy Music is doing that. And on a couple of other tracks, 8 Miles High, it gave me a distinct Blondie moment. Pick a track off of Americana from 1980. Not even the single Call Me, but, Rapture or something like that. There's that little bit of funk, little bit of hip-hop bleeding into the proceedings. Not overt in this case, because, Bryan was on his I Want to Be Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin kick, but keep the music, up to date and get us our pop sales. In fact, forget Talking Heads for a moment, but you listen to No Strange Delight, Running Wild, Midnight Hour, you're going to get a Seals and Croft vibe out of this. And, I can't complain, because I love all those. I even wrote Blondie vibes on side 2 for, Over You to start it off. This is so much of every artist I've said that preceded the album, but then set the pace that each one of them had to follow for the next 1 to 5 years. So if you've not heard Flesh and Blood, if you like the bands I've mentioned, there are moments where between this and Avalon, it's so stunning that you're going to think of All Through the Night and Girls Just Want to Have Fun. That type of perfect album production. And Avalon is case in point. If you gave me a list and said, pick the top 10 most stunning produced albums, front to back, everything segued together, you didn't pause, you didn't ask questions, the entire thing flowed together, no matter what the stylistic changes are, even no matter what the time signatures are. You put this album on, Avalon especially, it's going into my top 10, folks. Because this is just an outright radiant, stunning piece of work from, again, Bob Ludwig and Bob Clearmountain, which the more I say this, the more I have to do more research and just make sure that that isn't Bob Ludwig himself. Because this is way too good. They did this at Compass Point in Nassau, same places Judas Priest would do Point of Entry, Screaming for Vengeance, and Iron Maiden did a couple albums too. And the Power Station up in New York. There's a place that we could bring back, right? But that said, Avalon, you put Avalon on, and it's 1982, and as much as Flesh and Blood set the stage with the synths, with the, bubblegum pop, new wave aspects for the next 6-7 years, Avalon does that, but it does it more seamless in the same way that King Crimson had thrown 8 genres together on Discipline and then wisely scaled it back a little bit to be commercial on Beat. The same here. Here's Bryan Ferry doing exactly the same thing. Going, well, this is in vogue right now. I want more tracks where I can be a crooner. Yet I need to be on top of things. And I'm going to sell this fucking record. Sure enough. Ooh, and this is Warner Brothers that issued this, actually. Not just EG, it's Warner Brothers. Duly noted. But Ferry, Manzanera, and everybody that he hired to be on it dial in from start to finish. This is, 10 tracks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 10 or 11 tracks. You start off with the big hit, More Than This. The space between, the massive title cut, Avalon. I said Sinatra earlier, Dean Martin. It's true. You put this up. Barry Manilow. This is a singer/crooner, songwriter, 50s, 60s, early 70s, massive album. But with the sentimentality of 1982 pop production. It's glam, it's pop, it's bubblegum, it's new wave, it's synth heavy, pretty much everything under the sun, but not over the top and uncaring like King Crimson was. Ferry, to his credit, and I will give him this till the day I die, honestly, had the ear and the foresight to say, okay, let's do that. I'll throw a little fusion in here and there, Wells. But I'm not going to bludgeon people and make them go, the hell did I just hear? I want people to sit down in their chairs, listen, pull up a drink, and think. Or, alternatively, to go to the hall, go crazy and dance, pick up every girl or every dude, whatever, nothing wrong with that whatsoever, but this is that everyday album. And clearly that was the design. Forget Avalon for a second, but the one, two, the intro, India, to While My Heart Is Still Beating. Just gorgeous, breathtaking production. The writing is top notch. Oh, and when you go to side two, there's even more hits on this album. For those of you who love Corey Hart's Sunglasses at Midnight, listen, between the music, the guitar chords, the synth rhythm, the drum beats, drum machine beat, it's not an original song. I mean, I'll give them credit, but Corey basically made a hit out of two Roxy music tracks. Because if you listen to the last 2 minutes of the main thing and Take a Chance with Me, not on me, this isn't ABBA, don't get me wrong, I like ABBA, but Take a Chance with Me, that both those tracks together makes Corey Hart's Sunglasses at Midnight. 3 years later, you can't play these songs back to back, and of course they flow naturally, perfectly into each other, and not go, I wear my sunglasses at midnight. You could hear it on the ending of the main thing before Take a Chance with Me even starts, and you go, what the hell? I had to stop and make a note and go, I know these songs. Even if I haven't listened to these songs that much. And I bought this album, 4 years ago, November 2022. I got it in 2023. I played it twice and I put it away. And on this effort of buying all the 2022 reissues, for the price point, $15 to $17 a pop without shipping versus $35 a pop for an original that isn't going to be as high quality or very good to very good plus like this. I put Avalon on and I went, man, everybody ripped off Roxy music. And Bryan did too. He ripped off everyone at the time. But he set a new standard in pop while he was doing it. So much so that from 80 and 82, how many hit songs can you think of with just the bands I mentioned? And I didn't even say Cheap Trick on both of these, but there is definite Cheap Trick across the board on both albums. Everybody listened to these two albums. Bryan went solo, he did his crooner stuff, he did his flamenco. That's true. But every major rock band, pop band, they all, even prog, they all listened to this. And I'm sure Robert Fripp heard this album. Not that it mattered, because by the time you get to, by you get to Three of a Perfect Pair, nobody sounds like King Crimson on that album. But the effect is still there. Even on, there's some sax, there's some quiet island music and stuff like that would fit in. Clearly influencing back Pink Floyd, Roger Waters on the final cut in 83. Go listen to Two Suns in the Sunset. And then go put this on, listen to the title track of Avalon, and then To Turn You On, True to Life. So much of that era, whether you knew it or not, was based around what Bryan Ferry and this band were doing. So that's my lengthy How the hell did I make 25 minutes out of this? Yeah. Mystery to me, folks. And I didn't even plug in this yet and get a better sound. I'm still not sitting here with a damn glass of water or anything. But I want you to go if you like Blondie, Elvis Costello, The Clash, Cheap Trick, maybe a little Zappa, Seals and Croft. Go ahead and pick up, or at least at this stage, go listen to Flesh and Blood. Go listen to Avalon. Because these are completely in your 80s wheelhouse for each one of those bands. Oh, and I had a brain fart earlier. Cyndi Lauper. Come on. That was 83. She's so unusual. But All Through the Night and other tracks like this have the production to match up to this. So, again, big albums. But everybody listen to Roxy music. Even if they were taking from what came before, they set up the next 4 years after each album on the pop scale, on the commercial scale of looking at things. So that's going to be the last I say. Put on some Roxy music, especially more than this Avalon, the main thing. Take a Chance with Me. It's so damn good. Same Old Scene, Over You, Rain, Rain, Rain. God bless Bob Ludwig as well for mastering these. Especially for you Led Zeppelin fans who were trying to hunt down that most legendary, rare Led Zeppelin 2 copy. I've seen one once. We had the Ludwig mastering, and it sold at Dead Wax for like $75 or $80 because that man took advantage of every millimeter and every bit of dynamic range that he could. And he does so here on these two last Roxy Music albums. So, thanks for tuning in. I can't believe it's now 3 a.m. I've rented about 2 albums for 28 minutes. Wow. Love you guys. 6 subscribers now. I have no fucking clue how I did that one. This is going to get demonetized so fast now that I cursed again. But whatever. Do you. I've put these albums out there and my own thoughts on them. You can't lose with the last 2 Roxy Music albums because not only they produced so damn well and there's so many hits, but they were made with the average listener in mind. They're not the glam, progressive, avant-garde, borderline acid trips that came before. This was, I'm going to bring the band back and we're going to market to everyone as much as we can. And Bryan, Ferry and company did it. So, I'm going to wrap it up because I've been saying so and but, however, yet, so much I can't believe I wandered on for 29 minutes. Love you guys. Thanks for giving me the couple days grace and before I did this. I've been playing these 2 albums a lot and a whole lot of Chick Corea because I want to do a whole Chick Corea 1978 video. He had like 3-4 albums that year. He definitely had 3 because I have 3 of them. I'll double check to make sure there's not a 4th. But I've been on such a roll all week with Roxy and Chick Corea. Oh, and Battery, which I'm going to bring you later on this fine Monday at 3 o'clock in the morning. Jesus. I'll bring it to you at, maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll try. We'll try. But thanks so much for putting up with my bullshit. Hit like, drop a comment, subscribe. Good God, I can't believe anyone's subscribing so far. I really can't. But do any of those because it's good for me. I'd like to make a nice habit, even if it's a side hustle out of this. I love teaching people or educating them about albums they might have missed, movies they've missed, doing a larger analysis to how all these things fit into the society and the culture at the time. Trust me, there's going to be a lot of videos on that going forward. And my voice is starting to break because I don't shut the fuck up like I'm supposed to. I said it that time, but I tried to mute it. We'll see if I get a notification. So, again, thanks, people. I'm gonna go put on gonna go watch, I think, Hedwig and the Angry Inch or something like that, and enjoy the rest of my night. I should call it early morning at this point. Daylight savings time sucks, doesn't it? Spring forward and lose an hour of my ass. But I'm out. Till next time. See you in hell, my friends.